Hey guys, welcome back to another Gwent video, and today we're going to be continuing with the initial review of the newly revealed cards for Once Upon a Pyre, coming out on June 8th. Today we're going to be focusing on Northern Realms and their Banard focused mages that have been introduced. Now, for those who missed out my Syndicate analysis, quick review, whatever you want to call this, or first impressions, that's the best way. I will link that video in the description so you guys can check that out if you so wish. I just went over the cards and gave them a quick score out of 5 just based on theoretical initial impressions. And now it's time for NR. So let's look at the flavor text. Patience is a virtue that pays off. Wait for the right moment to activate your orders for the maximum gain. So the first thing you'll notice is that NR is getting a new keyword called patience right over here. So before we jump into the cards, I want to talk about patience quickly because 3 of the cards here use that keyword. So this is patience, revealed by the Gwent, official Gwent Twitter. Patience. At the end of your turn, if order is not used, permanently increase the card's specified value by 1. Straightforward. So let's look at what Gerhardt of Ale does. 7 strength, 11 provisions, human mage, zeal, patience, order. Create and play a 4 provision spell. Gerhardt of Ale, otherwise known as Hen Gedimdaith, was the oldest living sorcerer. That is, until his death on Tanit Island during the coup, where his heart, feeble from inconceivable age, simply gave out among the ruckus. Poor dude. So let's look at this. So, Zeal, Order, Create, Play, a 4 provision spell. So essentially, if you don't use the Order effect immediately, and he survives, this value goes up by 1 at the end of each turn. So you can go to 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way 9, 10. So let's see. He's not limited to NR spells. So let's look at the spells that we have in the game. So if I go to Spell, and I go to Alt, there we go. Spell, so go to card type, Special. So these are all the spells in the game that we can see here. At 4 provisions, we have 2 types of spells. So we have Pact and we have Rune Word. Now, because it's Create, you're always going to see Pact and Rune Word, because Create shows you 3 options, and since there's only 2, you're always going to get at least Pact, which is pretty good. That means that this guy places a 13 for 11 on deploy, since he is 7 strength and Pact is 6, so that's pretty good. I believe Runeward is getting a rework. I think it's going to be changed for this upcoming expansion. That's what I believe what Maligian said on Twitter. I can't confirm this. So if it's not correct, let's just look at Runeward. Runeward plays as a shield plus 4 vitality, so 11 for 11 with shield. Not the best. Pact is the best option here. So on deploy, the guy places a 13 for 11, which is pretty good. At 5, however, you get a lot more options. You get 4 options this time. So Artifact Compression is pretty good. That means you can get a reset and a lock. That's pretty nice. Also Thunder's Removal. This is if you want to Revenant for some reason, and you have Destroy a Doomed unit as well. The worst one is Will-o'-the-Wisp. I would say the best one would be also Thunder and Artifact Compression, based on when you're playing the card. If you played early for removal, you have Thunder. If you played late for like a Peter or a Reset or a Lock, Compression is there as well. This is good in niche scenarios where maybe you have the Death Blow available. Then this is definitely the best one here, because this also plays as a 2+3/5, right? So looks pretty good. 6 is only 1, Stamilford's Tremors. I think this card is honestly power cred. The only situation I would see this being good is if your opponent has swarmed a lot. What you have to keep in mind is that you can't wait on it, right? Because if you don't click, it's just going to go to 7 next turn. But that's, I think, not a problem, because this card is not that great, honestly. Niche scenario maybe against Swarm, Araka Swarm, NR Swarm, it might get decent value. 7 is pretty good actually. Necromancy is pretty good, and I'll come back to this because the new bronze card that was revealed today for NR is actually pretty good with Necromancy, I think, if I'm correct on how it works. So I think this card is actually really good. At 8, you have a lot of options. You have 5 options, so this is where your RNG kind of kicks in. I think Last Wish is pretty bad. Alzur's is okay based on what you want to pull out. Becker's is situational. Rockstar is really good, just straight removal, and Sabrina's Inferno is pretty bad. So honestly here, I'm looking at 2 out of 5 cards that are consistently going to give you decent value. Becker's being the 3rd option, and these 2 just being straight up trash. 9 is where you get interesting, because this is where you can actually play Invocation in NR, which is really interesting. Now, to be fair, 9 is very unrealistic, right? You have to wait 9 turns, which means you have to play Gellert really early on in the game, in the round, sorry, which is unlikely he's going to survive that long. If he does survive behind a Defender or Veil or something, sure, but Curse of Corruption is a little annoying because Gellert himself is 7 strength, Sorry, Gerhardt. I'm not saying, I don't know why I'm saying Gellert. Gerhardt is 7 strength himself, so you might just kill him. So just be careful about that. Triangle within Triangle is actually a pretty decent card. Good removal slash good boost. So that's also a decent card. And Miracle's Hailstorm is okay. Honestly, the best one here is Yennefer's Invocation. So that's really good. And then 10, you have 1 Ragnarok, which is actually pretty decent. And then at 11, you have Uma's Curse and Scourge. If you want to go for full meme, you could play Uma, roll a Gerhardt, and then do it again. Though that Gerhardt would be at 4, right? That's still pretty good. Scorch again, be careful. Gerhardt is at 7. Plus also you won't get the initiative because you're obviously playing it through Gerhardt. So Scorch is just going to be a Curse of Corruption here. At 12 you have Renew and Marvin's. This is pretty bad. This is okay. And at 13, yeah. 13's not going to happen. Like these. So these ones are not going to happen. These top 4 because you can only play maximum of 10 cards around unless there's Mata involved somehow. So maybe 11. No, wait, he starts at 4, right? I'm stupid. You can get this. 9. I don't know why I thought he doesn't. He starts at 4, not at 0. So yeah, Oneiromancy is not bad. Yeah, honestly, some really good options. The fact that his instant deploy value is good at 13 is something really good. It makes him a pretty strong card, right? Falibor is 13 himself with a conditional 13, right? And this guy's an unconditional 13, which is, I think, really good. So yeah. Yeah, those are the options. I think Gerhardt is going to be a solid 4 out of 5. I think this guy is a fantastic card. I love the new Patience keyword. And yeah, his effect is awesome. Let's move on to the next one. Istred, Human Mage, 6 powers, 7 provisions, Zeal Patience, Order, draw 1 card, then shuffle back 1 card. So this 1 is supposed to be like this. It's supposed to have those brackets. So this value will change. Whenever you draw a unit, boost it by 1. If it's not a unit, boost self by 1 instead. Love can make one do crazy things. The loss of love, even more so. This effect, I think this card is awesome. I think this card is really good. It's similar to Burna for Skellige, except in a sense that you can cycle through your deck. Except you're not discarding, you're shuffling the cards back in, right? It fixes your hand. And also gives you value. On deploy, he plays as a 7 for 7 because of this this condition here. And yeah, if he somehow survives, like if you need to fix like maybe more than 1 hand, maybe 2, you can wait a turn and then play his effect. Plus, this card with Snowdrop is an awesome combo. If you can somehow store Patience on Istred and then drop Snowdrop immediately and then click on his order, you get a big bomb in Snowdrop. This with Snowdrop is a fun combo. Honestly, I think it's a very good card. It's not like a must run, but it's almost like a maxi in a way, right? In a sense that you can fix your deck, which is really a strong ability, right? Think of him like a Doedric for NR. Yeah, I think that's the best comparison, Doedric, Leomartis. If you guys don't know what Doedric does, Doedric, there he is, this guy right here, cycling through your deck. The only difference is this guy can do it multiple times, while this Istred can only do it once. So when you click is important. I'm going to give this card a 3 out of 5. I think it's a very solid card that uses Patience in a very creative way. And yeah, you don't really lose value from him. It's a solid 7 for 7 on deploy, and you can get more from it. Really nice. Let's move on to Casting Contest. This, I believe, was revealed by Trinet. It's a rare special spell, 5 provisions. Boost an allied unit by 5. If it's a bronze, reset its order ability and give it Seal. Tales of Yennefer Wengerberg have spurred many an inebriated attempt to replicate her fabled foot casting. It never ends well. At least they're having fun, This card is a bronze Veraxis, essentially. It's a bronze Veraxis that's limited to bronze cards, pretty much. That's the best way to explain this card. Boost an ally unit by 5. It's a bronze, reset its order ability and give it Seal. So let's look at the cards that this would be good with. So we go to... It's not limited to NR cards, so that's interesting. Let's go to Order. And let's go to Units. Bronze. Color, bronze. There we go. I'm just going to stick to NR though. Going through everything is unreasonable. Let's be realistic, right? So first up, Kara Cutthroat is okay. You can re-enable the bleeding. This is a really good one. Carrick Marine is really good here because it plays as a 9 then. You boost it by 5 plus the 4 with Devotion, so that's really good. This is okay, this is okay, this is okay. This is again a really cool interaction. You can play Griffin Witcher Adept, use its order and then re-enable the original's order again to spawn more adepts. The only thing limiting you is how many students or witches you have on the board, right? So it's actually pretty interesting with that. If you want like Rognar shenanigans, sure. Bognar shenanigans can work well with this. It's okay on this as well. Another one I'm looking at. I think this is actually really cool. You can re-enable you can use the order for movement to like switch off an engine like Keltalis or Nithrol, and then re-enable its engine effect by re-enabling the order. That's a really cool effect. Yeah, this is actually a really cool interaction. And it allows you to move another target again. Another one is Lyrian Landsknecht. You can actually get the inspired bonus because it buffs it by 5, which is really, really nice as well. You can, again, similar to Adept, you can re-enable Revenant as well. This is not interesting. This doesn't work here because it's a cooldown-based one. This is a charge-based one. This is charge-based. You can use it on this also, if you want to, even though this is a really bad card. This is a little weird. You can actually use this, but you'd have to move it back to the range row using Siege Ladder, right? So yeah, those are the cards. So I think the best cards here are Carrick City Guard and Carrick Marine. I think those are the two best cards to use it on. Second after that would be Revenant and Adepts, just because you can re-enable the order, which is really powerful. So honestly, I'm going to give this card a 3.5 out of 5. I think this is a really fun card that has some interesting uses in NR. Really nice card. And finally, common Banard Student, Human Mage, 4/4/4, Patience, Order Melee, damaging enemy unit by 0. Kirwani Intelligence considers Banard a hotspot for recruitment, and expelled students, of which there are many, often find themselves swiftly enlisted within the Secret Service. Ooh, so if this doesn't die, it plays as a 5/4 if you use the order on the next turn, because it goes to 1 then. Now, what's interesting about Patience is it says it permanently increases this. So, oops, music here. Which means that, first of all, this is actually a card that wants to be removed, right? This is removal bait, because if your opponent doesn't control this, this thing just deals a significant amount of damage the longer it stays. 3 turns later, it's dealing 3 damage. 4 turns, 4 damage. That's a pretty interesting card. I love the design of this thing. Now, comparing this card to Mauler, right? Mauler is better if you're going to use it immediately, because you get 2 damage instead of the 1 damage from that. But Banard Student is only better than Mauler if you can wait 3 turns with this. Then it's better, right? But what's interesting is, as I said again, permanently, which means I assume that if you use this ability, the Patience doesn't reset back to 0, which means if you play Casting Contest on Banard Student, I assume the Patience continues from where you last used it. I think that's how it works. So let me just reiterate that properly. Let's say you use Banard Student and you wait 2 turns, so 2 damage here, and then you deal the damage. 2 damage is something. And then you use Casting Contest on this thing to reset the order ability. I assume that the damage does not reset to 0, but instead goes to 3, 4, 5, so on. If that's the case, this combo is really good in like a first round. And it also works really well with Necromancy. Necromancy, because you can just resurrect this from your graveyard, and assuming the Patience is permanent, and it works the way I think it does, you can deal some insane damage with this thing. Like a 5 or a 4 or 5 or something. That's really interesting, right? Gerhardt can give you Necromancy once after 3 turns, because Necromancy is 7 provisions. So yeah, I think this card is honestly really interesting. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I think the biggest thing the reason I'm not giving it 4 is because it requires a little setup. It's a little weak on turn 1/turn 2. Turn 3, after you've played it, is where it becomes decent, right? Or better than Mauler. If you're going to use this only on 2, then there's no reason to not run Mauler instead of this. I mean, it does synergize with Sentient Spellweavers, so there is that. It synergizes with Death Mold as well, so there's also that, since it's a mage. So honestly, a 3 out of 5. I think it's a really fun card. Another one, yes, another one. Portal. You can portal this out as well. Is that good? If I'm not mistaken, Sentient Spellweavers are 5. Yeah, they're 5B, and Aretusa are 5 as well. Yeah, so you can actually pull that up with Portal. That's not a bad idea. You know, Portal 1 out, it starts ticking. And if your opponent doesn't answer it, then that's a good thing, right? So yeah, 3 out of 5, guys. So I'm just going to quickly reiterate. Gerhardt is a 4, Istred is a 3.5, Casting Contest is a 3, Bannard is a 3, with some interesting shenanigans you can do. Mobilization doesn't work with this because mobilization only works with soldiers. I really wish mobilization worked with any bronze, honestly. Like any bronze NR unit. That way just having 2 mages would be really nice, right? But yeah, I'm just thinking of an interesting mage deck. You can run. Now you have a reason to actually get good value from Death Mold, Spellweavers, Arutus Adepts, Banner Students, Casting Contest, Gerhardt, Istred. Some really fun cards you can run in NR. Now let me just quickly check Mage, NR. Yeah, you got some. This card doesn't work really well. You need shields for this. It's okay. I mean, this card now has more targets, so that's that. You know, I think this launcher should be 3 base strength. 7 for 4 is much better than 6 for 4. But yeah, guys, there you go. That's my NR take. I think that NR has some really interesting cards. I know a lot of people are very sick of, you know, just saying boost NR, boost NR. Every NR card does boost plus something, you know, but we've got some really cool stuff. Patience is looking like a really interesting keyword. I think I'm going to predict that they're going to introduce Patience to a lot of existing NR cards that with order, just to make them, you know, because they did say they're going to rework order cards in a way, right? Including stockpiles. So really interesting. Really, really interesting. Big fan of this. Anyway, guys, if you guys did enjoy this, if you guys are interested in trying out NR mages, let me know below. And if you did enjoy this, please show your support, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.